Richard Baldwin. Let's put a pin and remember this name. We'll come back to Mr. Baldwin a little bit later, but first let's talk about AI in real life. The equivalent of the knight of what Ultron tried to be in the Avengers movies, or for a more well-known pop culture reference, is Otto from WALL-E. Now, from AI being the extreme villain in sci-fi movies has subconsciously cemented a fear in us mere humans of a thing called artificial intelligence. But what is AI really? Let me explain. The first recorded adaptation of AI-type machines was a female robot named Maria in a 1927 film titled Metropolis. Now, the movie Metropolis pioneered the sci-fi effects and special effects storytelling genre, directed by Fritz Lang. And it's actually poetic to think that a movie like that set the stage for the scene that is the sci-fi genre at the moment. An article published on the 16th of November 2016 that the 500 highest grossing movies of all time, that 125 of those films are sci-fi. That's about 25% or an entire quarter of the movies on that list are sci-fi. And you know what? The popularity and the knowledge of AI makes sense when you look at the statistics. And that depends obviously on how you visualize your data. But now everything is starting to make sense when we look at the statistics. That's why everybody's so scared of AI. While it took another 27 years for AI to be realized in the real world that we live in. And the true birth of AI was said to happen between the 1950s and 1956. The founding fathers of AI were actually not Sam Altman, but actually Alan Turing and John McCarthy, who created the Imitation game in a film that was later adapted onto the big screen with the same name, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Allow me to try and explain the Turing test, or better known as the Imitation game. In short, can a computer act or imitate a human successfully? So how the game basically works is a judge or a conversationalist has a typed conversation with different unseen respondents, and among those respondents is a computer responding to the prompts that the judge gives. Now, for the test to be proven or the game to be won, the judge couldn't distinguish which of the respondents between the humans or the computer was the computer. And that's the start of AI. Computers successfully imitating human behavior. Continue to make my statement that the threat that AI poses really doesn't deserve all the fuss it gets. Comes down to AI's ability to reason with logic. Hear me out. According to an article published on Telefonica Tech on the 23rd of May 2023, where they talk about emotional AI, they only started research in 1995. That means it trails in research by about 30 years to traditional AI models. A company founded in 2009 called Effectiva that specializes in AI emotional learning by using advertisements. So how it works is by customers' consent, they record people's reactions to different advertisements and use those reactions to learn their AI model to recreate some emotions like sympathy and empathy. But I'm willing to argue, in my opinion, that we have one thing that computers or AI can never recreate. And that's, in this case, the superpower, but in real life, the curse of impulsive decision making. Take a moment to think about that. We humans have the ability to make decisions irrationally. But compared to a computer, even in a split second, it can always make a calculated decision because computers think way faster than we can. Let's rewind and tie everything I said together. Do you remember I mentioned Richard Baldwin in the beginning of the video? He said, and I quote, "AI isn't going to take your job. Somebody using AI better than you is going to take your job." Let that sink in and let me paint another but similar picture in your head. And correct me if I'm wrong, but do you remember when computers and new calculators had people buzzing and worried about the future? Microsoft Excel, Casio calculators, and Microsoft Excel calculators and the new smartphone might take your job. Well, here we are today in the present. The Terminator didn't take over, and those careers still exist. You see, basically what happened is that the person who learned to use the new tools got the career over the person who didn't. I feel the comparison is fitting to what Richard Branson said. The Stone Age didn't stop because we ran out of stones. Something else took its place. I'd like to close out this video with my last argument by a quote from Sam Altman. He said in an interview, calculators weren't the end of mathematical education as teachers feared. In turn, we didn't have to memorize timetables anymore. And it raised the bar so we can be taught calculus earlier. And that opened up a whole new world of doors for problem solving. He later then said the following, and I agree completely. Sure, you can use ChatGPT to cheat on your homework, but that defeats the biggest benefit that AI can give us in today's world. To create new ways of teaching, new assignments, new problems, and most importantly, new solutions.